Hello everybody, welcome back to the video. In this video, I want to tell you guys everything you need to know about the new Korean test server update from MapleStory. I'm going to stick to the most important things that you guys need to know. There is actually a lot that has changed in this test server, some for better, some for worse. It's kind of controversial, to be honest with you. So this is going to be one of those things where we're definitely going to want to talk about it. I'm excited to hear what you guys say in the comments. I'm excited to hear what you guys say in the streams. Definitely pull up so we could talk about it, because this is actually a pretty big update. And I don't know if we're going to get all of this, because some of it seems like it wouldn't work well with our heroic world, given the inkwell note information. It's a lot, but let's get right into it. Subscribe if you haven't already, pull up to live streams, and join the Discord. So the first thing is here, there's the new boss, the first adversary, and it's a level 270 boss that has 4 different difficulties: easy, normal, hard, and extreme. So this is a boss that's going to be able to be done by a lot of people, which I think is great. I love that it's a level 270 boss and has a lot of difficulties. That way a lot of people get to enjoy the new content, try the new boss, get the new rewards. It does give you Eternals, which is good, obviously. But to be honest with you, let's just get straight into the meat and potatoes and talk about the real big stuff that most people are going to center their conversations around. Yes, there are other events and stuff like that that's happening in the future, just like how we have the Morning Star Feast event right now. Of course, there's just events like typical check-in events, kill monsters, get rewards, yada yada yada. You know how it goes. But the real big changes that they're making come with boss systems, bosses, and items. That's changing a lot. So the first thing is they are creating a new item called a pitch box jewelry box, and this box can drop from the hardest bosses in the game. Think like hard Kaling, hard Limbo, for example, and it gives you a chance at getting a random pitch item, which is crazy. Like, that's unheard of. You could get a random pitch item when you open the box, which is very, very good. I mean, that's a really good thing. If you're somebody who's that strong and you're clearing the highest end stuff in the game and you're still struggling with pitch boss, which is honestly getting phased out with the brilliant boss set coming out, you should have a higher chance of getting pitch. It gives you something to fun for, look forward to, and whatnot. So you can get it from hard and extreme Kaling, normal or hard Limbo, or normal or hard Baldric. So it's like the end game bosses, that's where you get it from. But on the flip side is the drop rate of pitch across the board is lowered. So getting a Berserk from Hard Lotus, nerfed. Getting a eye patch from Damien, nerfed. And all that stuff, Lucid, Dreamy Belt, Gloom's ET, it's all harder to get as a drop. So that means for some reason they're making it so that pitch boss is actually harder to get from bosses, which is weird. It's going to drive prices of these items way up if you play on a server that you can trade. And this is what I mean by, I'm not sure if this is going to fit into our heroic type of world. I don't think it will. I really hope we don't get this change. I could definitely see Inkwell denying this change and we don't get it. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to wait and see. Maybe we get some sort of communication on this. Who knows? But this is something that I would not want to see happen to our version of the game. Another massive change is they are changing the way that you get Eternals from Kalos and Kaling. So right now, if you were to clear Kalos, you'll get something like this. You'll get a little piece, Kalos's residual determination. And if you click on it and you get 10, you can get an Eternal piece, right? Now, it doesn't matter if you're in a party of 6. If you clear normal Kalos, every single person is going to get 1 of these pieces. If you clear C Kalos, every single person is going to get 2 of these pieces. Extreme Kalos, everybody gets 3 of these pieces, and so on. But what they're changing is now easy mode isn't going to drop any of these pieces, where right now you could get a half piece and you could still technically work on your Eternals even through easy mode. Now they're making it so that the pieces that you get are split amongst your party members. So if you are doing normal Kalos, there will only be 3 pieces total, and they get split amongst your party members. So if you wanted to maintain getting 1 piece from every single normal Kalos run, you would have to clear normal Kalos in a 3-man. So this not only increases the difficulty of these bosses, because now you're going to have to trio them instead of 6-man them if you want to get a whole piece. It also very incentivizes people to solo the bosses, duo, cut people from their party, which is crazy. Now, this is something that is unseen before in the game, and something that I said in a couple of videos ago, where the game is trending towards smaller and smaller parties. Think like Extreme Lotus's duo, Limbo is only 3-man, Baldrix is only 3-man, Kaling Phase 1 is duos, and now they're making it so that even Kalos, you're going to be incentivized to be clearing these bosses with as few people as possible. Now, personally, my opinion is I don't actually like this. I think it's not fun to reduce the amount of people that you're partying with. Yes, party bossing can be stressful, scheduling is stressful, all those types of things, but I would like to have both, where I can party bosses with some of my friends and then solo bosses on maybe a different character, or maybe I don't feel like running with a party this week, or something came up and I have to solo a lower difficulty, but I still get stuff from it. Like, I don't know, I like party bossing, even if it can be stressful sometimes. This just makes it seem like once you get to Grandis and beyond, you got to get used to playing by yourself or maybe with one other person, which is very weird, to be honest with you. Especially the rate in which you get Eternals is just way slower now. Like, it's just way slower getting Eternals. Part of the reason they did this in Korea is because of carries and the fact that they could trade items, right? They said that 40% of the Eternals that are in the market are just from people who get carries. People who just run, they do zero freaking damage, and they just get carried, they get their gear, and that's it. And then they get away with it. Now, they don't want that to be the case on this game anymore. They don't want people to just do carries, especially for endgame gear. If you're doing low damage, they're going to make it really hard for you to enter a party now. That's their goal. But on the heroic world where you can't trade gear, this doesn't work out that well for us and only just makes things so much harder for no reason. For them, they could trade gear. So ultimately, even if this is the case, at the end of the day, they could still trade for it and get more pieces if they really, really wanted to. But for us, it's just like a straight up nerf to Eternals, straight up nerf to the enjoyment of progressing with your friends or anything like that. The other thing is black hearts are just not gonna drop anymore. Like, they're just straight up not gonna be in the loot table anymore. So black hearts, goodbye. They're being removed from Hard Lotus, which I think is also completely unnecessary. Not even from the perspective of somebody who has a lot of black hearts. Like, I have a lot of black hearts. I have a lot of characters that could kill Hard Lotus, and sure, the black hearts are nice. It's just dumb. Like, why have one less thing to look forward to? That's just the way I look at it. Yes, at the end of the day, black heart isn't that big of a deal, but still, it's just one less thing to look forward to, one less thing that's nice to get. But I mean, yeah, this is a little weird, to be honest with you. Let me know what you guys think of these boss changes. I think they're crazy, to be honest with you. Something they did add that's really good is they added a skill that will swap your ring for you. So instead of having to keep your inventory open like this and then just like try to swap your ring in and out as you are bossing, there's just going to be a skill in the game that you can press and it'll swap your ring really, really fast. Super convenient. This is something that we've needed for a very long time, and it's good that we're finally going to get this. Another thing that's interesting is sealed Genesis weapons and Destiny weapons and Genesis weapons will no longer be able to be dropped. So what this means is class swapping. I mean, class swapping is pretty much dead like since 6th job, but some people still were swapping their classes. Like, let's say you were a bishop, you go to fire poison, or you're an ice lighting and you want to play bishop. Some people were still doing that, but at the end of the day, it was really hard to do, and now they're making it even harder so that, let's say you're a Night Lord and you want to switch to dual blade, you cannot have a Genesis weapon. You are going to have that Night Lord Genesis weapon the entire time, and you cannot get rid of it no matter what. So it is literally just locked to your character forever. Something that's really good is they increase the stackability of certain items. So like power elixirs, spell traces, all that stuff, like you can stack it up to like 100,000 now, which is really, really, really good, because that's actually quite a lot of mesos you could stack up to that you could just forget about and keep there without eating up your whole inventory. Now, I want to reiterate that these changes are on test server. They're not literally live in Korea yet, so anything could happen, obviously, but it just goes to show what they're thinking right now, which is pretty concerning in my opinion. I feel like some of these changes we won't get, especially these boss changes, but ultimately you never know. We'll see what happens. That's like the big system-wide changes. There's obviously other stuff like quality of life when it comes to like buddy list stuff or making your chat window transparent and stuff like that. That stuff is nice, and you can expect another video as this stuff comes out for us in GMS from me. But I wanted to report on these things now because this is the most important things and everybody should know about them. The next part of this is they changed a bunch of classes, and they're also going through with class rebalancing in a different way. So instead of rebalancing every single class all at once, they're going to be rebalancing classes that need them more than others and in batches. So for example, this first batch of classes, it's like 20 classes or something like that just got a bunch of rebalancing. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one because there's a lot. Obviously, if you're in your class Discord, which you should be if you play any class in MapleStory, they're going to have every single piece of information laid out very nicely for you to understand and to read read very quickly. But I'm going to tell you about some really notable ones that are really good to know. So the first thing is, for almost all the classes in the game, they just reduced the latency and the delay for their skills. So a lot of classes that feel clunky or a little bit slow are just not going to feel that way anymore. You could like attack while moving, your animations move faster, you're not locked in place as much, and that's just a huge improvement across the board. Like everybody just feeling less laggy is amazing. The other thing is they have decided to just get rid of the shade soul split, which is pretty funny because I just made a video a couple days ago before this news came out saying that shade is a really good future-proof class because they have the soul split skill that gives a party final damage, and even if the class is weak, it still provides good support in a party. Yeah, I think I jinxed it, guys. It's all my fault. Rest in peace. Because now without the soul split, you only have synergy with archers and you're pretty much just a DPS class now. Some other notable changes are the fact that Ice Lightning got a new skill, Blaze Wizard got so much quality of life and a new skill. Lara, the Lara one is actually insane. So if you don't know how Lara works, and one of the fundamental issues with Lara is she needs veins to summon her skills. So what that means is, you see there's like a blue vein here. I could summon my blue spirit here. There's a green one. I could summon the wind one here. Red one. I could summon the fire one here, right? But the problem is bosses move around so much. So if a vein is not where I need it to be for a boss, you lose so much damage. So this is actually a huge damage increase for Lara players. The fact that you could just, in the future when this patch comes out, place down your summon literally wherever you want without a cooldown. So you could just infinitely replace your summons without a cooldown, and it's just super easy to do, and it's a huge damage increase for Laras. Explorer Mage got changed a lot as well. If you don't know how Explorer Mage works, they have a skill called Infinity that gives them final damage over time. So that's why you always hear things like Explorer Mage needs buff duration, because you want that buff Infinity to just ramp up as long as possible and to stay at its highest point as long as possible. But now they're making it so that Infinity is just a flat amount of final damage all the time, and it's actually a pretty big nerf to the Explorer Mages if they go through with it. I really hope they adjust the numbers and, like, you know, sure, just make the Infinity flat, but the numbers are just like higher. That way it's not a huge nerf. But yeah, that one was definitely weird. But again, like I said, most of these changes revolve around action delays, movement, and stuff like that, so classes feel faster and more smooth to play. Blaster is another big one where they made it a lot easier to play. Blaster is notoriously an extremely difficult class to play, requiring a lot of very precise inputs and timings. They're just making it like a lot more brain dead so more people can play it. Now, a lot of people are very upset by that, and I understand 100% that that is very upsetting, especially if you put a ton of time learning something. But what I also want to say is it's possible that they're doing something like that so that in the future when they add more skills, there's room to add complexity to the class. Because if a class is already really complex and they just keep adding more and more things to it, it's going to make it just like impossible to play. Like there's just no way to play the game that well. One of the things that they mentioned on the live stream is they want to make it so that the difference from theoretical damage output and actual damage output is not a big difference anymore. You see on DPS charts all the time, like damage on a dummy versus damage in real bossing, and there's like a huge difference between them. They don't want that to be the case anymore. They want everybody to be able to play a class and get like the highest efficiency out of it without struggling too much. Now, the last thing that they showed is the upcoming roadmap for some events in Korea. The first one, obviously, on the left here for August is the first adversary and the class rebalancing. There's going to be more class rebalancing happening in September and October, like 2 more patches that are going to have class rebalancing as well. So I wonder how that's going to go. But something that's very, very important that is mentioned here in the middle is there's going to be a level 280 epic dungeon. So we have High Mountain at 260, we have Angler Company at 270, and there's going to be a new one at level 280, a brand new epic dungeon, which is huge. That's another big source of XP added to the game and more frags and Soul Urda. And then below that is we're getting a new Legion champion slot unlocked. Finally, after all this time, we're finally getting another Legion champion slot unlocked. So now you're going to need 4 characters to do those missions. Anyways, definitely let me know what you think about this update. I wanted to make this video as concise and filled with as important information as possible. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Shout out to my beautiful members: Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Skittles, CKJ, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Kelvin, Cloud Figs, Trashbot, Henzo, Dylan, Cloudy Quesos, Jason B, Sylvester L, J.A., Russell M, Mochi Teddy, Zero Sama, Shredbot, Michael R, and Suna TM. I appreciate you guys so much. If you guys ever want to submit art, put it in the Discord fan art channel, and I'll see you for the next video.